Hello. Welcome to another episode of Live at MCX, where we have discussions and conversations with experts, partners, and pros about anything under creative media technology. My name is Larry, TSS Head, and with me is Madge, our marketing specialist of MediaCast here in Dubai. And we're truly excited to introduce you to our guest for this episode. But before I do that, a quick reminder for our viewers on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave your comments. And your support means the world to us. And for our listeners on Apple Podcasts, your 5-star ratings and reviews are invaluable. And if you're tuning in via Spotify, a follow would be greatly appreciated. Now, in this episode, we are so happy and excited to have a conversation with Hamad Yehia. Did I say it right?
Almost, but yeah.
I think
No, it is, man. No, it is good.
It is good. Okay, I'm sorry. But he is the director of AB Talks and many other large shows in the region. So let's all welcome. Okay, I can see it from the prompter again. Hamad Yehia. Did I say it right?
That's perfect.
Okay. And of course, we also have Madge. How are you, Madge?
I'm good. How are you, Larry? How are you, Hamad?
I'm good, man.
I can say it. Hamad Yehia.
Yes.
Okay. So if I have to say it again, I have to.
Hamad Yehia. How are you?
I'm good. How are
I'm
you?
good.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. I know you're quite a busy person with all
No,
the
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's our pleasure really having
Mine as well.
Yes. So basically, we'll ask you a few questions in this episode, and it will be just a comfy conversation between us. So let's start with introducing yourself. Tell us about you, Hamad.
Okay. Well, my name is Hamad Yehia. I've been in this field for as long as I can remember. I believe my first internship on a film set started in 2008. And then I developed into a lot of different medias in the field. And my big break was doing TV ads back in Egypt. One of them that made the big splash, and that's how I got known as a director. Of course, I started as a camera operator, as an editor. I played around a lot with everything, but I think my big break was in TV ads.
Okay.
Which I worked for a long time, and then by ultimate coincidence, I came here to Dubai on a totally different project, which was like small 2D animation project that I was working on, and someone called like, I'm having this idea for a big show. Do you wanna just give me an advice or anything? And we ended up developing a full show that became a huge hit on TV, and stayed them with for like 4 years, and I felt that was enough TV for me.
Okay.
And then I did a lot of music videos
Mm-hmm.
to some known stars, and then finally I ended on AB Talks, which was a totally new medium for me to enter, but it's a great challenge, and I like working for it.
That's really interesting. You've gone through a lot of different what do you call that?
Categories.
Categories.
Yeah.
Of production.
Also documentary filmmaking.
Okay.
Like I've done this for like a few things. We've done a movie for the BBC, which was a good experience to have. It's a totally different than everything else I worked on. So as you said, like very various mediums, but it gave me a lot of experience to where I am now.
Very diverse, but at the same time, I think it's difficult to have that, experience of diversity, but at the same time, keeping yourself on top of your game always, because if you keep on, changing. But yeah, I mean, AB Talks is probably one of the most successful show that we've heard coming from our country. So yeah, very good job.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We will be talking about
Yeah.
a lot about it in this
That's it,
episode.
yeah. So,
So let's just start with, how did AB Talks transition from YouTube to Netflix? What led it to its success?
I think AB Talks is a great case study of a good pioneership. Like it started when there was no similar show in the region. a show that talks about vulnerability, humanity, and like the tagline of the show, discovering the human behind the title. And as Anas, our host, always says, that I'm taking celebrities and putting them down on a human level. So when you connect on this human level, you see something new that you didn't see before. Also, and I believe he said that in all his interviews before, but it is something that really sets the rules of the show. When he worked in TV, he decided, like, I'm gonna do everything that's opposite to that. So no time limits, no ads, a very minimal setup. Keep the guests talking as much as they can. Use any language they feel comfortable with. So I think this made the show different and unique. And we didn't have any similar show in the region. Most of them, I think all of them, are formatted in a way that are boxed in segments, and these segments kills the flow of the conversation. And the show is a conversation between Anas and a guest, and that's, I think, how it made it successful. How it transitioned to Netflix, well, that happened before I joined the team. I only joined the team 2 years ago. So it shows how successful they were. It shows how great they were doing. And I believe the uniqueness of the show and the topics they choose and the guests that really unveil and show their human side and their vulnerable side made it a show that pursued by most of the successful platforms, Netflix included. And as I said, they have a great team, like even before I joined. And I think this is one of the most key elements to have a successful show.
And we've been, in our previous episodes, we've been speaking about having, having someone and having a team, and that contributes to the success of.
100%.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing. Like, it's always said, like, you're not a good director unless you have a good team. And being a good director is like choosing the right people in their right positions. That's what makes a great thing at the end, because you can do your job perfectly, but if it's not helping the team, then you all fail.
Yes.
Absolutely. And in your role as a director of AB Talks, you're likely orchestrating everything behind the scenes. So how do you manage to be able to create authentic interviews while ensuring a smooth operation?
Well, operation is the key. Like, we have very important rules when it comes to operation. Like, we have our own setup, or everything is in-house. Every team member know his role. But when it comes to direction, it's a show that really doesn't need a lot of direction. Like, it's a very minimal show. Like, we have 3 or 4 camera setup, 2 chairs, white background. That's it, 90% of the time. So my role is to how to make this conversation interesting without touching any of its authenticity. So the editing is really minimal when it comes to it. Sometimes just to keep the pace, sometimes just to enhance an emotion, selecting the cameras. But when it comes to directing the conversation, we don't direct the conversation. The conversation directs itself.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah, it's a real flow. It depends on the guest for sure. Like, most of it depends on the guest, but also depends on our research team that does a good job to dig into what we can get out of this guest. It depends on Anas's skills, of course, and conversation, which is, I believe, is unmatched. So directing a conversation is not really what I do, but the operation behind it, like, that's the real work that no one sees or feels. And I like to, like, one of the biggest compliments that we get from guests, like, oh, I forgot that you were even here, which is like the most important thing for me, is to keep this operation as smooth as possible. So when they really get into the zone and feel that, or in a vulnerable moment, they really need to forget that I'm here and that the whole team is here.
But how do you push? I don't know if how do you push someone? Not, I think push is the wrong word for it, but the show is about bringing in your guest to the human level, right? To the level we're in, it gets reached easily by other people. That's what AB Talks is. But how do you manage to switch that, or to make that person switch from where he or she is?
Well, we all have our guards.
Yeah.
We all have our like this protective layer that we really hold dear when it comes to dealing with people that we met for the first time.
Mhm.
But the key is the smoothness of the conversation and how, and Anas is really skilled in this. He really makes the guest feel comfortable, safe. Uh, you're in an environment that no one would judge you. You just feel free to say what you want. You are in a safe environment all through the shooting. And one major part of it is how you unveil these layers, the protective layers that you build. And unveiling it is through a series of questions that are normal to ask, but it would tell me a lot about you. Like when he asks about, tell me about your childhood, tell me about your happiest memory, tell me about your saddest memory. And it's a mind map that he created that would make a person reach a level when he wants to talk. And everyone wants to talk, I believe. Like everyone wants this burden to be relieved. Like we all have things that we want to share, we all have things that we want to talk about, but feeling safe to talk about it, it's a process, it's a journey.
Yeah.
But
And
some,
taking this journey to,
even if they're feeling safe, they don't open up. They don't share.
as I said, it's a journey. Like you have to take this journey with them to the point where they are totally unveiled. Like it's like removing a layer after another until you reach the core of the person and you get to know the person. Is it 100% successful? Like, of course, some people might not be 100% open, but it's some people are tougher than others. But at the end of the day, that's the process, that's the journey, and you get what you get.
Yeah, and I guess the research team and your host are really doing a good job in terms of, unveiling, like when you said the word,
That's true.
that's the word, the unveiling that
The
part.
human
The
have the title.
ambience and the stuff. It's really
Yeah.
So it's really the process of, from everything. Like I off cam, or while we're not recording, I heard you were speaking about how you bring the atmosphere, or establish the atmosphere from the moment the guest arrived.
Yeah, the journey I'm talking about doesn't start the moment we shoot. The journey starts from the moment the guest arrives. Like the way we welcome him, the way we greet him, briefing him about everything that's gonna happen in the shoot, like telling him exactly how the shoot is going to be. Step one, we're gonna do this. Step two, this, like even to the small details. Now you're gonna get mic'd. Now we're gonna take a photo. Now we're gonna sit down, and after the shoot, we're gonna do this and that. So letting them know every single small detail that they're gonna have helps a lot, making this familiarity and to make them feel more safe.
How do you pick your guests? Is there a specific formula for that, or
Well, I think there is, like right now, the show has evolved to a position where we really have to pick the guests that will benefit the people watching. Like, I think this is the main category. What I'm gonna learn from this person. Does he have something to offer? That he has a great story? That he has a great life story, life journey, success story, whatever. Like, what is he a great speaker? Is he? It's something that we feel is beneficial for the society and something that people will learn from or look up to. I think this is the main category. And we also have the other side of AB Talks, which is another series called Untold Stories, where we get people who are totally unknown, but they have a really good story and they have something to share and a life experience or whatever that it's really good for people to listen to and learn from.
And be inspired.
Exactly.
yes? Share the most shocking interview moments on AB Talks.
Shocking interview moment. I hate to disappoint you, but we didn't have a lot of shocking moments. Like we had a lot of people that you didn't expect to be this deep, for example.
Mhm.
Like you had a guest who's known to be a very funny, trendy person that you would never expect. Like this guy is really deep. He has great things to say. Um, but shocking, I don't believe we had a shocking moment when it comes to it. Like I hate to disappoint.
It's fine. Which is good, actually.
Yeah,
There's
it's
like
good, actually. It's not a bad thing
not-
to have. Like,
Like the most comment we get, I think, is oh, I never knew this about this person. I never knew this person was like this. I never saw this side of him before. And we take it as a great compliment.
it is a compliment.
Yeah.
It is definitely a compliment. It's really hard to bring that from someone.
Yeah.
And you guys are really doing a good job.
yeah.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We have a great team.
طيب, share some of the craziest challenges faced in making AB Talks happen and any wild behind the scenes stories.
Well, we had a technical crazy story once.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
I think you yes. I think it happened once before one shoot that we had a frequency interference with the mics,
Okay.
and we couldn't like figure out where it's coming from.
Mhm.
We keep changing the frequencies, it's still there, and it was like driving us crazy and the shoot is about to start and we can't figure it out. But it turned out to be a good thing because the guest that day was very nervous, and when this happened, like, oh, okay, they have something else to worry about, not me. So it really set the mood, took the edge off,
Okay.
and once it was resolved, and until this day I don't know how it was resolved. There was a frequency and then there wasn't. The guest was more comfortable to like start, and so it was a good thing at the end.
Yeah. And technical problems like this actually, like, even before we start filming, we had some technical issues as well. It actually sets the mood up. It brings the smile to people's faces, especially those who are not involved, or was not not able to be part of the solution. They would, take that time to really like breathe and somehow prepare themselves for the shoot. So and it's really nice. It's really, for me right now, listening to you makes me really want to meet your team. They seem so efficient because you don't have crazy stories. And
I think we praise ourselves on efficiency. We
Okay.
really have a good team, and not just the production team. Like, for example, in my opinion, one of the greatest reasons for the show to be this successful, we have a great social media manager, for example,
Mhm.
that she really knows how to get the best out of everything. Because at the end of the day, this is the face of the show. This is what's people
yeah.
how people get introduced to the show, or people get interested in this episode or that episode. So knowing exactly how to market something or promote it or play on it on a social media level. So I think this makes the show what it is right now. Having this great team, and everyone is good at his place. So when you place the pieces of the puzzle, you get a very good picture.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any upcoming plans or exciting updates for AB Talks that you can share with us?
Yeah, we have a lot of amazing plans for the future. We just launched a new show. It's called AB Talks Music, and it's a totally different show that the main one. It's more fun to work on. It has a lot of direction. This one,
Okay.
because I just said the first one, you don't have this sense of director doing it because it's a conversation that you're trying to maintain on a technical level. But the new show is more artistic. It's more creative. We have this beautiful idea that we want to shed light on musicians and their creative process and how they make their songs and what leads them to get inspired and the crazy stories behind every hit and every performance, and it has a performance piece in the end, so you can enjoy. Yeah, so it's a great experience to have, and this is one of the great things I'm looking forward to, and I really wish it becomes the hit it should be.
So you're
Sorry.
so you're moving from a wide target to musicians only now, or
It's not to musicians only, but this is a series that will focus on music and not just singers, or like you can have producers, you can have
Nice.
anyone who's in the field of music, but the main focus is the creative process itself, not just the story about a certain song. This can be a part of it, but the creative process, and also shedding light on underrated talents or upcoming stars. Like, we don't need the top celebrities in music, and also the grassroots artists, the indies, the people who are just starting in the region. So you shed light on that, and you give them a platform, and hopefully people will like them.
I think you're doing a very noble cause in here, because it's, grassroots artists. These are the artists that really needs a lot of. They need a lot of attention. They really need a lot of platforms for them to show their craft, and a lot of them are really good. And
That's what we discovered
Yeah.
when researching like who to invite, and we found like a lot of people that there is a lot of talented people out there that
Yes.
they just don't have the right platform, or the platforms are oversaturated with things that you cannot just pick them out. So having this platform for them, I think it's a good spotlight for them.
It is. It is.
So UAE is buzzing with creative talent, and your show is a testament for that. So, what made you choose the podcasting route amidst all the noise in the content creation scene here?
That's a really good question. Because based on my background, like I come, as I said, from a very diverse, different types of media. I worked in TV, I worked in movies, I worked in documentaries, I worked in TV ads, music videos, and then suddenly this medium of podcast blows up. And the market is oversaturated with podcasts. But having a podcast as unique as this, with its previous success, like I joined when they were already successful. So I had an idea how this was going. And I really enjoyed the message of the show. So, and I think that what's keeping it successful as it is, the uniqueness and how different it is from other podcasts.
Right.
And one more important thing, how real it is. Because like most podcasts, they have like a certain message that they want to like give it to the people, but I think our podcast really shows the authentic side of a human, and who he is, without all the glamorous lights that covers his title. So I think it was for sure it was like a thought process for me to just transition from where I was to this medium, but it's something that I'm enjoying right now. Yeah.
I guess that's the important part of it. When you enjoy it, it's
Exactly.
if you enjoy what you do, you never work at all. And
Absolutely.
and when you have, whatever you're doing in terms of making sure or unveiling the side of that person, or a celebrity, especially if it's a celebrity, and if you show the human side of him or her, that would make you really love that person more. If you're a fan, if you're ready, if you already love this person, and when you kind of see that side of that would really add more followers or add more fans to that.
And the better part is when you get people who don't like this person and they start saying, "Ah, I like him now."
Yeah.
That's the bigger win.
Yes.
Nice, interesting. I was telling him like to visit whenever he's having.
By more than welcome.
For aspiring content creators in the UAE looking to start a podcast or YouTube show, can you share some tips to consider?
Yeah, I can, but I'm not an expert in this, like how to succeed in it, but I can say what succeeded and maybe you can learn from this. Like all the people that I've seen or I know that have succeeded are the people who are true to themselves, who are doing something that they really believe in, they really enjoy, they really know what they're talking about. So if you think right now that this is tech podcast song, no, I mean like if you think that tech is the trendy thing right now and that's not your passion, that's not the thing that you like, and you start a podcast about tech because that would give you more views and everything, that's the worst thing you can do, because you will lose interest and you cannot keep it going for as long as you can. And I think the only tip I can give that I'm sure of, that I'm confident in, is consistency. Like if you're consistent in anything, you will make it. But if you just lose interest in the middle of the road, or like, it's something that you can never change. Consistency, discipline, and everything else will come, and do what you enjoy. Yeah.
And like, again, banking on what you said there, like if you're really consistent in what you do and producing the same quality and maybe improving it, I think that's a recipe for success.
I believe so.
Yeah, and not just in to prove that this is not a tech podcast, we can talk about life lessons, but I guess in life in general, right? I mean, you have to really love what you do, be consistent with that, and let the people around you realize that whatever you're doing is actually true, and you enjoy it, and you became a better person for the society, or at least for that person, for that matter, and then that grows, that starts.
And you don't have to set this higher goals. And again, this is all from my point of view. I'm not sure if it applies to everyone or not, but I believe that if you like something, there must people like you who like the same thing.
Yes.
So why not appeal to these people and your own passions and your own community, and they will be your starter followers, and then they will get you more people to enjoy this thing that you already enjoy.
Yeah.
So do what you like, do what you enjoy, and do it well.
Do it well.
According to the people and stuff, the UAE is recognized for its diversity. So how does AB Talks ensure guest and topic diversity to ensure representation and exclusivity?
This is something that is very easy to do in the UAE, especially in Dubai. Like, you have this melting pot of 200 nationalities or more. So when you look at the diverse pool that you're picking from, it's already diverse. Like, you don't have to create a formula for, oh, today I got this guy from this nationality, this guy from this. Like, it's easy to pick from. But I believe our main factor is the story and what we will learn from. Diversity comes as a byproduct of being a show based in Dubai. And I believe that the show has transcended more than the UAE now. The show is very popular in Egypt, very popular in Iraq, Algeria, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So it's bigger now, and we are moving more towards a global scale.
Yeah.
Like, if you've seen some of our recent guests, like, you will have to figure out, okay, this is moving towards a global scale now. And I think this is, to answer your question, the diversity thing is something that you find easily in Dubai, but it was not something that we didn't think of. Of course, diversity is important because, as I said, appealing to similar people will only lead you to be in an echo chamber, just like talking to people who think like you and have the same ideas. Like, no one is changing anyone, no one is thinking about anything new. But to inspire new people with different diverse ideas, it will only come by diverse guests.
Yes, absolutely right. Let's discuss the essential tools that you need to ensure AB Talks operates smoothly, including the recording, editing, and distribution stuff.
So basically, as I said, the show seems very minimal to an outside viewer, but a lot goes into it behind the scenes. Like, we have usually, like I would say 70% of the time, we have a 3 setup steady, stationary cameras that goes into switcher where I operate just to choose the cameras to choose everything. But on a technical level, and I was telling this before the shoot, I believe that sound is the most underrated technical aspect
Yeah.
for
Thank you
any
for saying that.
media, because I believe people would always tolerate a bad picture, but we will never tolerate a bad sound. And I'm not talking about bad quality sound. I'm talking like when it's hard to understand or when it's hard to
Yeah.
figure out what's being said. That's for sure is something that people will not tolerate. So I personally pay a lot of attention to sound. That's my first priority, and then we pay more attention to our external setup. We have a viewing area to ensure that this is a closed environment, so no one enters the studio except the guest and the 3 camera operators doing the job right now. Anyone else can be welcome in a viewing area where they can see, where I control what they can see from the switcher.
Okay.
And technically, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but this is the the short version of it. Yeah.
And you are whenever you operate the setup, so it's both audio and video. You take care of both.
No, we have
We have
one guy for the audio,
Mm-hmm.
and I really have to thank him because he's a really good guy. He takes care of all the audio stuff, and it's really important to pay attention to audio, and I can't
Yes.
stress on that enough.
I always say this, like sound is always half of your picture.
I would believe more.
Or probably more.
I would believe more, like definitely more, because as I said, I would tolerate watching a movie in a bad quality, but not in bad sound.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, because he's coming from a sound industry background.
So he knows.
That's why I'm thanking you.
And sound is a whole, like it's a whole field, like it's its own thing, and people treat it like, okay, we're just a mic and a recorder. No, it's its own technology, it's its own sensitivity, the editing systems, the frequencies, like it goes to a lot of things that you really need someone who understands how sound works.
Yes.
And you can never have this person who is doing something else. Like you cannot operate a camera while you're operating sound at the same time. It's a big thing that people really underrated. Yeah.
In the Middle East, are there unique challenges or opportunities for podcasters and content creators in the UAE compared to other regions?
I wouldn't know a lot about that, but like as all fields, there's always challenges in everything. And I believe all fields, all regions, you would have the same challenges. One of the biggest challenges for podcasts in general, especially in this region, is the oversaturation of it. You have to find something that's really appealing and really unique. You have to have your own selling point that no one else has. Other than that, I feel it's a fair game for anyone to enter the field. It's something. The world is changing. Everything is getting more convenient. People, when I started, we didn't have access to all this equipment. Like it was really hard to just see a camera, not to use one. Like when you see a camera, you go, oh, that's a film camera. But now it's easily done. Mics were a huge thing when we started. Like recording audio was, and I remember, like if you remember when YouTube first started, like the audio quality was like the worst. But now with the access to all this great tech and the affordability of it as well, so it's a fair game for everyone to try and see if it's something that he can keep being consistent in or not.
We had an episode wherein that was one of our topics, and the topic of having this accessibility to technology. Like we were visiting some schools, and the schools would have in the UAE, in Dubai particularly, would have this amazing setup, that actually is a lot better than some compared to some TV stations. And you will see how the kids are really trained at an early age to know the technology and how to use them. And I think that would really still be a pattern, or there's still going to be a progression in that field, making sure that
Exactly, because it's if you can see how crazy everything is being developed
Yeah.
and evolved, and how technology is just on this fast train that's going
Mhm.
in a way that we can't predict what's gonna happen
Yeah.
1 year from now or 6 months from now. With this game-changing AI technology, for
Oh.
example, like you cannot predict what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
And as you said, like most TV stations, they are so late to upgrade their equipment because they invested a lot in it.
Yeah.
So you would find a school that just started today and they have the equipment that can really do what a broadcast station can do in
Correct.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's way easier and it's more accessible, and a kid can literally operate it. So technology is something that you have to really consider in this field.
Yeah, and you've mentioned AI. The reason why we laughed or smiled, not really laughed, but when we smiled, is because that's a recurring theme for every episode that we shot. Like everybody is gonna be, even if it's not part of the original plan of our sequence, AI is gonna always be a part of the discussion.
I think it's on everyone's mind in this field because it's the next big game changer. Like I don't know if you've seen Sora. They just released a video prompt by keywords, and the results are amazing. So you don't know where this is going. You don't know how this. Like for me, when I first heard about AI, was for autofocus, and now it's making its own videos.
Yeah.
So
But are you excited about the next generation?
I'm always excited about new technology. Like
Mhm.
it's the same thing. Like it's something new. We don't fully understand the capabilities of it, where it's gonna take this industry. And I'm always for things that makes creativity accessible to more people.
Mhm.
You have a great idea, but you cannot achieve it. If this will make you achieve it, and for me to see this great idea, then I'm more than welcoming AI to have it. And everything has its
Pros and cons.
pros and cons.
Yeah. And for example, Madge and I basically represent two, demographics. Oh well, apart from the race, but at the same time, I'm more on the traditional old school type of guy. I try not to be, I know, but of course, Madge is on the younger generation. But what do you think about the future, Madge?
AI future?
Yeah.
Actually, he helped me in my capstone project for masters in marketing, and he knows what about AI. So actually, I feel it's a bit scary because you don't know where it's headed, as we just mentioned. Like you don't know where it's going.
Yeah, but that's the point with every new thing.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I was telling her.
It may take some people's job.
So who's the old guy now?
Well, the camera took the jobs of painters.
Not really.
No, it did. The people used to have a painter to draw their portrait, and now they just take a photo. Like a lot of jobs were taking, and I don't mean the real good artists. This will never die.
But
Like-
you know what I believe there? Whenever, okay, it's scary. I agree. Scary for the painters. But then those painters were replaced by photographers. So I think it's on the continuous adaptability and flexibility.
So they're changing as well, you mean?
Yeah, life
Yeah.
keeps changing. Like when the
Life
first
keeps
print
changing.
house was made, people who used to copy books,
Yes.
they lost their jobs
Mhm.
because there's something that would do it in 1 second. So this is the way the world changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same things with phones, same things.
Yeah.
Like every paradigmal shift, that the big break in something, unfortunately, people will lose their jobs because they're. It's a bad word to say, I know, but it will become irrelevant to have someone who's copying books when I have a printing machine.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part of it, when you become irrelevant,
Yeah.
when you become, not needed for for what you are doing. And for example, microphone. So we have a very tiny microphone right here, but there were days wherein it's like
Yeah.
sorry, it's like a tube, and it has its own power supply connected to that, and now it's cute.
Yeah.
Any moments or unexpected twists along the way that happened in AB Talks that you want to share with us?
Well, I'm trying to think of something like to be entertaining, but but as I said, we have a very strict like workflow. It's really hard when you get something out of the ordinary or a surprise. Of course, you get the occasional guest that would come like 3 hours late. Then it only happened like twice.
3 hours late.
Yeah.
I just want to go back. Sorry, I couldn't get over with that AI topic. No, it's really interesting for me how AI is being used. So in AB Talks, for example, do you take advantage of, or yeah, do you take advantage of AI? Like, do you use some AI in
We're
scripting?
testing it.
You're testing
We're
it.
testing it. We first of all we tested it with the editing, the
Mhm.
autopod.
Okay.
I say it like helped 60%
Okay.
of the first draft,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to still go back and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're testing it to see if we can manage subtitles with it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still in the testing phases. Like I wouldn't say I rely on an AI on anything.
Yeah, the reliability on it is
Yeah.
still in its, and I guess that's something that we can learn how to, adapt in the work.
It's still a new thing, so
Yeah.
we're waiting to see the full capabilities of it.
I spoke to an old script writer in the Philippines, and I was like, he's really old. He's probably one of the known script writers in the Philippines, and I asked him once, like, are you afraid that AI would replace you as as a script writer or a screenplay artist or with that stuff? And it's very interesting how he responded, and he just said that during the 1990s, people were scared that Google will replace our jobs. But then in the end, yeah, I know this is a higher level of just Googling it because you get a structure out of it. But I guess it really is on how different industries, on how different groups of professionals would adapt to it. So I got involved in one project before wherein everything was AI created. The script, the editing, the choice of music, the camera shots, everything were all AI. It was bad. It was really bad. But the directors were really pushing to show the possibilities of it. That's the intention of the film. The intention is not to show that they can create something beautiful. But then in the end, like I said, and this is the success story of it, that the sound part was really bad, that they decided to have a human really sound design the film. And
I have something that might be a little bit controversial about this.
we love controversies. Yeah.
I think AI would replace bad and mediocre, whether script writers, whether editors, whether anything, because it can do that job. But unique artists, I don't think you can replace them with AI as we're standing right now.
Yeah.
But you can easily replace bad script writers and bad technicians. Like if you're bad at your job, AI will take it. If you're mediocre at your job, AI would take it. But if you really excel in your job, then you don't have to worry right now.
Yes. You
Leave
have
it
to
for later. Okay, so now we have the rapid fire question.
Okay.
Okay.
Either A or B.
Okay.
No explanation.
Let's start. Audio only podcast or audio video podcast?
B.
Video.
Audio. Run free podcast or censored podcast?
A.
Run-free podcast. Condenser mics or lapel mics for podcast?
I prefer concealed mics, so I'll go B.
Condenser. Arabic content or English content for podcast in the UAE?
In the UAE.
That's a hard one. Okay. I would go B for larger audience, but my personal preference would be A.
Hey. Short form or long form episode?
I'm old, so I'll take long form.
How long is long?
2 hours?
2 hours.
I think anything exceeding the 90-minute mark is a long.
It's long.
Is really long.
It's really
Like
long.
90 is already long, but I
Okay.
think anything exceeding that, it's really long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And having something around 60 to 80 is a
It's
good.
still long.
It's still long.
Like I would say, like the 20 to 30-minute mark is the
optimum.
optimum
Yeah.
one.
We're done.
We're done. And
So-
yeah. I think there's another.
The last question as explanation, not
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not just say.
for all the podcast enthusiasts out there.
Mhm.
What's your top tip for consuming podcast like a pro? And of course, feel free to give your own show shameless plug.
Their consumption.
Mhm.
Okay, I think when you are or you're enthusiastic about podcasting and you want to get into this field, and this applies to all fields, but like I loved to consume TV ads when I was a kid. Like that was my passion. Like I would record it, I would VCR it, I would have it, like, and that made me like, when I had the opportunity to enter this field, I really understood where it stands. I understood its drawbacks. I understood the pros, the cons, where it should. And I think for podcasters, they should do the same. They should have this critic eye to everything they're consuming.
Mhm.
They have to dissect it and have to know exactly where this podcast is great and what it lacks. Be more critical about it, the process itself. Try to learn, try to know more about the field. And hopefully when you do your own thing, you will create your own process, your own structure, and you will have your own pros and cons as well.
Yes.
So other people will learn from it. So it's an ongoing process.
Yeah. I think this is a very interesting conversation.
It was for me as
It's
well.
probably one of our we we love every episode, but I think this is probably one of
The favorites.
Thank you.
one of the
Means a lot.
favorites of gonna be one of the favorites because it kind of taps on to again diverse amount of people and professionals out there. So thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah.
for inviting me, and I really had a great time with you guys. Thank you.
Bit too. And there you have it, folks. That was Hamad. Thank you so much for joining us for a chat today. It was really
you.
helpful. It was really amazing. Thank you so much.
And I
See
didn't
you
have
again.
I didn't have to say your name again. So
We hope to see you again in your studios.
For sure.
yeah.
Okay, we will continue to have conversations with interesting and notable individuals in the world of creative media technology here in the UAE, and we look forward to you joining us in the next episodes. Please do follow or subscribe to whatever platform you're viewing this now so you will get notified in succeeding episodes. Once again, my name is Majd.
And my name is Larry, and you're watching Live at MCX, or you're listening to Live at MCX.